All right, how's everybody doing today? This is New Era Gardener, NEG, and we're gonna toss a couple of bins. We're gonna feed a couple of bins, and we're gonna feed them watermelon. So this is the first bin we're gonna go through, and we're gonna see what we got. So this is the first bin. Just gonna go through it and just kind of move it around, kind of see moisture level, how the castings are doing, and then we're gonna feed them some watermelon. So this is the first bin. Those castings look good. Worms are lively. So they're looking good. So that's the first bin we're just gonna go through, and all I'm doing is just kind of mixing up the bin, kind of get some air going through it, get some air circulation through it. We got small pieces of watermelon, so I'm gonna put quite a bit of watermelon in one area. We have small chunks, big chunks. So we're going to give them quite a bit of watermelon. There's quite a bit of worms in here. So we're going to give them quite a bit of watermelon. Alright, so that's the first bin that we're going to feed. The watermelon was frozen. Just to kind of break it down a little bit, break down the walls of the watermelon so that this way, as it starts to break down, it's one step ahead. So that's one bin that we actually are going to look into. And that bin looked good. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. Here's another bin. This is 513. It's another good bin. This bin was fed a couple of days ago. Some pack of manure. Beautiful castings. This particular bin has a lot of coconut, not coconut coir, but a lot of biochar. And the biochar, for me looking at my bins, it also regulates the moisture content that's in there. Those castings look good. Worms are happy. Go lucky worms. I'm gonna feed this one some some watermelon also. Like I said, they're small pieces. So even though I'm putting in 5, 6, 7 pieces, depending on the size, so right there I put in 6 pieces. Not spending a lot of time on this particular bin. Good moisture content, happy worms. Give them a feeding. This bin will be harvested somewhere around the 13th of next month. So that's a good bin. Here's another bin. Take a look at that one. This one was also fed some days ago. Those castings are nice. Nice moisture to that bin. And as I always say, one of the other reasons why you actually put your hands into the bins is also to kind of see how the castings are doing, the moisture level, see if you have any problems with your bins. Once again, like I said, this bin won't be done until next month. So I got a couple of. The only bad part about when you freeze any of your green matter that you're actually going to put into the bin is it adds a level of moisture to the bin, but this bin still has about another month to go, so I'm not really concerned about it. So that's another bin. That looks good. So that's where we're at. There's another bin that is close to the same amount of time frame that this bin is supposed to be harvested. As you see, there's some biochar in there. I'm glad to see, I was watching a couple other videos of other guys that are actually, and gals that are actually doing worm castings. And it's good to see people using biochar in their castings. Sometimes I just recycle the biochar, take it out of one bin, put it back in the same bin or a newer bin that I'm going through. But that bin looks good, good moisture. The biochar, because I do make active biochar, I will use the biochar right back into making biochar once it's done. I'm going to add a couple pieces of watermelon to this one also. Getting into some big pieces. I'm going to put 4 pieces in there, maybe 5. Try to do one more bin. But that's another healthy bin, good moisture. And I really haven't fed them a lot of organic matter. Most of it has been dry food, being the worm chow or the manure. All right, so we got one more bin here. This is one of the bins. Obviously, I'm not going to feed this one, but we're just going to look at the moisture content in this one. It's feeling good. This is one of the bins that the moisture content was a little much in it. And as you can see, it's still on the bottom. The moisture is a little much still. And this particular bin, I might turn around and add some. I'm not going to do newspaper at this time. It's a little late in the game to do so. But I may come back and do a video of this particular bin and another bin and just adding biochar to it to kind of use it as a way of sucking up some of this moisture. This bin has less than a month to go. And I can always let it go another month if I wanted to, or a couple of weeks. So I'm not going to feed this particular bin. I still have a little bit of pumpkin left. So there's one more bin that I'm actually going to feed. I'm going to feed the, I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to feed the red bin. This bin I did feed. I did feed this bin, and as you can see, there's some here. This bin still has over a month to go, but as you can see, this bin has good population in it, nice fat worms, good moisture, so I'm not concerned. That little bit of food that I mixed up in there, they'll continue to eat it as it continues to break down. But I'm going to feed this one the rest of the pumpkin, because this one has a lot of worms in there. So they'll enjoy the little candy treat they're getting. One of the things that I will mention is, I mean, look at the moisture in this, moisture in the watermelon. I mean, you can see there's quite a bit of water content in there, but that's okay. Like I said, this one has over a month to go, so I'm not worried about it. It's supposed to be changed somewhere around 10 something, so I'm not really worried or concerned about adding a little moisture to it. But that looks good. Feed them some pumpkin, feed them some watermelon that I actually had. I put in the freezer, and that's all we did, is just fed a couple of bins so we can get rid of it, and they'll make quick work of this. The only downside sometimes is that you might get mites. For some reason, when you put in melons, you seem to get a little more population of mites. So if I happen to see mites and they're all over, just happens to be that they're all over the watermelon, I'll take the watermelon out, run it under some warm water, get the mites off there, and feed it back to them. And that's a way of also cleaning up the mites. Watermelon, I haven't too much had a problem, but I have seen it when I do avocados. It seems like the mites love the avocados, and they like pumpkin. It's not pumpkin season for me yet, so I don't really have pumpkin yet, but they seem to love that. All right, so it was just a quick feeding, stir up the bins, see the moisture level. Just always want to take a look at them, just see where they're at, so you know if you have a problem coming on. The worst thing is to not check your bins and just keep feeding them and keep feeding them, and then one day you go to look into it and you have a problem. The castings are super moist. They are wet. I'm not even saying super moist. They are wet. You have a mite problem. So you really want to check your bins throughout the week, just to make sure that they're doing okay. Like anything else, you want to check on your plants, make sure they have enough water, make sure there's not a pest problem. So same thing with the worm castings. So maybe I'll come back with another video on kind of trying to dry out that other bin. Usually I just take off the filter fabric, let the filter fabric stay off, allow it to dry out that way, which does help. But maybe I'll shoot a video of adding the biochar, so you can see how the biochar will also help in retaining the moisture and sucking up the moisture. At the same time that it's sucking up the moisture, it's also sucking up a lot of the nutrients that's in your castings. A lot of the biology is going to make its home in that. So it's a little safe haven for them. So once again, this is New Era Gardener, and this is just a quick feed of, I think I fed 5 bins and just checked 5 bins. And tomorrow I'll check the other 5 bins, see where they're at, and feed them some other scraps that I have. Once again, this is New Era Gardener. I appreciate you watching. This was just a quick video of feeding the bins. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.